What's grillin' gamers, and Happy New Year. I'm really excited about this year with my new ideas for this YouTube channel. I recently watched a movie called New York Ninja, and it was not as good as I expected. It's a movie that was shot in 1984, but the movie was not edited and restored to be released until 2021. The story behind this movie is really interesting, more interesting than the actual movie in my opinion. The plot is a sound technician's pregnant wife is brutally murdered while witnessing a kidnapping in broad daylight. Dressing as a white ninja, he takes to the streets as a sword-wielding vigilante hell-bent on cleaning up the streets of New York City. That's the synopsis from Letterboxd. The average rating on the website is 3.2 stars, which I find higher than I expected, in my opinion. One unexpected benefit of watching this movie was that I didn't know before watching the movie, but I watched the Red Letter Media video about this movie, and watching this, and in that video, they praised the movie. And I think a decent majority of the people who've watched this on Letterboxd from that same audience, which I think would reflect on the higher rating on the website. Don't worry, that's just a theory. The movie, in my opinion, is jarring and not a top-tier guilty pleasure movie. The movie wasn't entertaining or funny. There are so many better movies that got made from this era when this was made. Amadeus, Gremlins, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I find this movie hard to recommend when there are so much better quality movies from this era. This movie was found from a cheap company, and that's how I feel about this movie. It's dumb, hard to follow, and weird. I'd rate this movie a 2 out of 10 or a 1 out of 5 stars. I watched this on Tubi, but I wouldn't recommend this compared to much better movies on that service. I could ramble about how many better movies on Tubi I could recommend. I also recently watched The Great Outdoors, and I enjoyed it more than I expected. This movie was coincidentally released in 1988, the same year as the movie Tequila Sunrise, which I liked and reviewed on this channel last year. This movie was directed by Howard Deutch. No, not to be confused with Old Dutch Snacks. He is most well known for making this movie and Pretty in Pink. This movie stars Dan Aykroyd and John Candy, absolute legends. The plot is, it's vacation time for outdoorsy Chicago man Chet Ripley, that's Dan Aykroyd, along with his wife, Connie, their 2 kids, Buck and Ben, but a serene weekend of fishing at a Wisconsin lakeside cabin gets crashed out by Connie's obnoxious brother-in-law, Roman Craig, John Candy's character, his wife, Kate, and the couple's 2 daughters. As the excursion wears on, the Ripleys, not from Alien, but from this movie, find themselves at odds with the stuffy Craig family. My expectations were not high, even though people have recommended this to me. I read through some Letterboxd reviews, and I agree with a lot of points in this Joe Lynch review. Speaking of Letterboxd, the average rating is 3.1, which I think reflects a lot of things about this movie, that the vast majority of the people think this movie is average or mid. There's so much praise on this app when you look at all the ratings and reviews for a movie like Ghostbusters compared to this movie. In Ghostbusters, that they have similar actors that carry over. Anyway, I was excited to watch this movie because the 2 leads are so talented and so legendary. I know they're also both in the movie The Blues Brothers, which is also one of my favorite movies from this decade. I really liked the first half of this movie. There's a nice balance of comedy, being well spread out. The boat scenes were my favorite scenes in the movie. It reminded me of goofy boat scenes like in the 1966 Batman movie or in Caddyshack.
Fire when ready, Robin. I'll maintain curvature.
With that being said, the second half of this movie felt more flat to me, like Flat Stanley Flat. The jokes did not match from the first half. This movie has the common comedy cliche of having the two leads arguing, but eventually they reunite. I think the best example of this cliches is in the movies Step Brothers and Talladega Nights, but the cliches are more beneficial to those movies and add a dynamic, unlike most other movies, like this movie. Despite all my criticisms, I like this movie more than I didn't. It's not the easiest movie to find to stream. Sometimes it's free with ads on YouTube, or you can find it on DVD. I have a copy of it through a John Candy DVD collection, which also has the classic movie Uncle Buck, which I haven't watched in years, but I remember liking it. I would rate this movie a low 6 out of 10, or a 3 out of 5 stars, closer to a 5 than a 7. Not a great comedy or movie, but I enjoyed watching this over New York Ninja. That's all I got for this Film Friday. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.